I want to tell people to make sure they're being intentional about who they want to work for and who they want to work with.
Yes.
That is priceless. You have to do some work. You have to do some research, not just into the industry, but do some research on yourself and really,
let's go.
Yeah, ask yourself, hey, where do I want to go? And then reverse engineer it. So if you want to be in sales, ask yourself why. And really, why is that key question? Because anytime you come up with another answer, then you can dig deeper with another why.
Say it again. What's the key question?
Why? Because it's always going to be stress. The job, again, is going to have ebbs and flows. But when you're able to genuinely work with people who are in a collaborative spirit, in a growth mindset, it pays off. Hey, no judgment. If you just need something to put food on the table, then that's a different story.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you can't even think straight if your basic needs are not being met. So let's take that off the table.
Welcome to the Pivot Playbook, where we share the stories of people who have forged their paths to success by making a pivot in their career and in their life. And today we have Tondaylea in the building. Tondaylea is a recruitment strategy analyst, and she's going to be sharing a little bit about her story into tech and how she made a pivot coming from an unorthodox background, and now how she's achieving success in the tech industry. So I'm gonna let you fill in the gaps, Tondaylea, of anything that I missed, because I know there's a lot to unpack in your journey, your superhero origin story. So yeah, if you don't mind kind of just starting off a little bit about you, your background, and how it led you here.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you. I'm so excited. This is our first tech podcast. Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
So this is really cool. I appreciate the invite.
Oh yeah.
I have worn many hats, and the latest one is this tech hat. So that's pretty exciting. But what led me here was really just a life change. I ended up traveling 100% for work because I used to be a flight attendant. And then I wasn't able to do that anymore, for health reasons, personal reasons. And I ended up coaching people to pivot into tech, which is how I met you on Career Karma. So that was really fun. I was able to help people break into tech through different boot camps and other free resources as well. And then I was like, you know what? I need to take my own advice. And
so, I don't mean to cut you.
Yeah, go ahead.
But so I met you through Career Karma, which is a dope platform with a ton of free resources and just networking with people in tech. So you were hosting at a weekly kind of breaking into tech or webinar type of thing. You would bring on different guests. So at this time, you weren't in the tech field when.
Well,
how did you get connected with that whole Career Karma?
Well, honestly, I came on the platform after hearing one of the co-founders, Ruben, on I think EYL Earn Your Leisure podcast.
Yeah, that's how I found about it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, and I really was just supporting. I was like, okay, let me download the app. I thought the conversation that he had was really valuable, and really didn't think I would get anything from it, because I was like, well, I'm not about to be making $1 billion. I'm not even making $1 million yet. And he was talking about building $1 billion business. So it took me a couple of weeks to even listen to it, because it was, low priority. But then when I discovered Career Karma, it's like, oh, okay, let me tap in here. And it did go through some changes throughout my time there, just the app and the community, but I fell in love with the community. Till this day, I have people that I've met that I would consider friends that I've never even met in person there, but I met on the app. Yeah. Actually, I've never met you in person, so that's one. But it really was kind of a window into, oh, this is something that's possible, because I was able to see just a whole bunch of different people becoming software engineers and UX designers and data analysts and sales, um, tech sales reps. And I was actually teaching myself how to code for a little bit. And it was taking a little bit longer than I wanted it to, because I wasn't fully sold on the boot camp route for me personally, for a bunch of different reasons. But the short version is, I ended up teaching myself how to code. And then by the end of the year, I was like, you know what? Let me just pivot into sales. I have a sales background, and I always told people who would come into my rooms, and pretty much, if anybody's familiar with Clubhouse, that's kind of how the rooms were. It's pretty much audio. There's no video, and we would host different sessions to help people with different topics related to breaking into tech. And once a week, well, actually more than once a week, but pretty much almost every night at some point, it kind of changed throughout the time I was there, but I would host different speakers, and there would be people that would come back through, who've kind of told their story about breaking into tech, or hiring people, or people from boot camps, executives. There were a few different people, but primarily it would be users who would come back and tell their story. So I would always tell people, the path of least resistance, if you really want to get your foot in the door, is sales,
Sales,
because
yeah, that's what you. I
sales has
remember
been everything, right?
you told
So
me that too. I was looking at the solutions engineer at first, and
yeah.
you were like, check out sales. You kind of put me on the a couple of the people on YouTube that were talking about tech sales. I know
Hmm.
Cyrus was one of the. You sent me his
Yep.
video, and the course careers, because I think I was talking about course careers, and you were like, here, watch this guy. I think you might resonate with that. So
Yep. I remember that.
yeah, so you were hosting. You were dope. You were dope as a host too. And like how? Okay, so what led you to pursuing, the field you're in now, to from going from hosting that to now, like I want to break into tech. I want to get into, because you said you were doing coding, right?
Yeah, I was wanting to go the software engineer route, which I still am, actually in a Python course right now.
Wow.
Um, but I still have interest there, but just for goals and different timelines and things, I just needed something to come through a little more quickly than that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you have to really be focused. Certain things require a lot more brain power, and coding is one of those things,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And I would start and stop. There was a bunch of personal things that happened, so there were a lot of variables that I just wasn't able to get through it as quickly as I thought. Now the resources are out there, and if you can hunker down and bang it out and be disciplined, you have to really know yourself.
Mhm.
And so there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just a bunch of different ways, and everybody's path is going to look a little different. So, ironically, a year to the date that I started working for Career Karma, I signed my offer with my current company,
Wow.
and I got my official full-time tech sales job. But before that, Career Karma was just a contract job.
Hmm.
So it wasn't, a full-time
Full
gig.
time, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was still, pursuing other ways to like break into tech per se.
So you were originally okay. You were originally gonna get into coding. So what is that, like a software engineer type of role?
Yeah, so software engineer, software developer. There's a few different ways that you
Okay.
may see it listed. Um, Mobile developer. There's a few different ways. But anyway, if you've heard of Python or JavaScript or
Oh
Java
yeah.
or C sharp or C plus plus, or
Yeah.
there's all these different
R,
languages. Like we,
R and
yes, yes. So we speak English, we speak French, we speak Swahili and Spanish, and there's different computer languages. And
yeah.
so that's basically what coding is. And everybody and their mama is coding now, it seems like.
Yeah. So you
But
saw the
go ahead.
now I was just gonna say you saw that took a lot of it was gonna be a little more time consuming. The timeline was a little further out for the coding thing.
Yeah.
And
And I just wanted to start where I was. I already had transferable skills with sales. I had been a realtor. I owned a laundromat. I've done a lot of things. I wore many hats in my days. And even with a flight attendant, this is sales aspect. So there's sales and everything. I knew I could pivot, but I still ended up taking a course, a SaaS sales. So SaaS, you may see SaaS, software as a service.
Yep.
So pretty much software sales is what I took a course from Aspireship in. And
okay, hold on. We're jumping.
So I'm sorry.
We gotta break it down. We gotta break it down for the people here. Okay, so you said tech sales is gonna be an easier entry point. If it's your time.
I think so.
So, and I did the same thing. So, what was yours? I know I went the course careers route. What was your mindset behind, like, okay, what do I need to do next? You recognized you wanted to do a boot camp, right?
I wanted to get some kind of training just to give me a bit more insight into it. Now, there are people who get hired into different SDR, BDR roles, sales development rep, or business development representative, which is the more entry level roles into tech sales. And then you have account executive, right? So I know I may be speaking foreign Greek, but
no, we
so you guys understand there's the SDR, BDR role. Yep. Usually those people are just getting leads to sell whatever product that you have, right? Oh, call somebody, see if they have a need for what you have, and then you forward that on to your account executive. So the account executive is usually the person that closes the deal, right? If it gets that far. But they handle the full sales cycle. And I knew that I could get, an entry level role and work my way up if need be. But you asked me what my mindset was into that. Oh, I wanted to get just a little bit of insight because I had never done tech sales. So the methods are pretty much the same. You do calls, you do outreach, and that looks the same in business, primarily pretty much almost anywhere. But just understanding the industry, I would have felt more comfortable just having a little bit more insight. So that's why I decided to do a course. And it was pretty inexpensive compared to like a regular boot camp.
And when you say
which is also why I tell y'all, hey, look over here.
Because some of these boot camps that, with Career Karma, it gives you a breakdown of like all the boot camps, gives you reviews. That's what I like about it. And then it also kind of gives you different price points. So like they take a percentage of your salary, right, for like the first year or so. There's no upfront, but they get you on the back end. They have you for like a whole year.
What did they call? I've been so far removed, I cannot even remember what they call these things.
There's a term for that, right? When they're
yes, there is
taking a percentage. I call it getting taxed. It's like
pretty much. A lot of people don't have thousands of dollars laying around, and so this is an affordable way. Well, this is an option for people who want to get skilled. You may be making, I don't know, $30,000-$40,000 a year, but if you can get reskilled and be making double that, it's a good investment. Like a lot of people consider that a good investment because they think that they'll be able to get a job and it makes sense. Now, you spend $100,000 on a college degree and never end up working in your field and making that much money. But with tech, the average for a software engineer is like, easily $90,000. So you spend 20, 25 on getting reskilled in a boot camp. That makes sense.
So you're able to 20 to 25K for these boot camps?
Well, it really depends, honestly. So
I know they're at least starting 7,000, 10,000.
Yeah.
Some are 20.
It really depends on what's involved.
Okay.
Because I should have brushed up on these because I haven't looked at them in so many months. But there are some that
have the deferred tuition or ISA.
There you go. ISAs.
I'm on the site right now.
Thank you.
All right. I'm helping you out.
ISAs, deferred tuition. But what happens is everybody's situation is different, but primarily because people will come in my rooms and they're like, look, I don't have that kind of money
Yep.
and I don't have that kind of credit.
Yeah. Oh,
um,
so you gotta have a credit. You gotta have credit for some of these.
it
So boot camp, like
depends,
some of
but
these,
some of
like
them
General
depend.
Assembly, Dev Code Camp, like some of these, okay, that are like 15, $20,000 camps.
Yeah,
Now
easily.
those,
But don't get twisted. The 15 to 20 is if you pay up front usually.
okay,
So you end up paying more, just like anything, they're charging you interest because they're risking, hey, we're giving you this money
yep.
and you may not pay us back. Like we
Mhm,
front
mhm.
you this 20, 25 grand. So usually they take it out of your paycheck with the ISA.
Okay,
And it's a percentage, it's capped, it's usually no more than 2 or 3 years, I think.
yep.
But in the gist of it is basically that's what it is.
So they're taking a
They'll give you the
percentage
money
from
for
if you get,
tuition,
okay,
and then when you get a job within 6 or 12 months, then you start paying it back out of your paycheck.
okay, okay. So that's one option, right? And I
Yeah.
know that's one thing I was kind of looking at too. Now, that was for me at the time. I had just left a career. I had my own business, and I was in between, and I was like, I need to get to something else, but I didn't have the money to front to like pay these 20K up front or 15, whatever it might be. So I was actually kind of looking at that as an option at one point. But then, comes along course careerist, like things that were seemed a little more affordable.
More
Careerist was,
affordable.
yeah,
Hmm.
careerist was like 3,500, 4,000, something like that. But then I see the course careers 500 and then 450 with a discount code. And I started looking at these and I was like, okay, maybe tech sales instead of solutions engineering. Is that kind of the mindset that you had and that you were telling people like, hey, maybe look into tech sales as an entry point
Yep.
and then continue if you want to continue once you're in there, you're making money, you can continue upskilling, right? And
Yeah.
on
Because then you have the income. A lot of people that came through Career Karma, especially during that time, people were losing jobs, there were layoffs.
yeah.
That was kind
Mhm.
of, I feel like, the beginning of a lot of that, or another wave of it, should I say. And we're already living, below, paycheck to paycheck, basically.
Exactly. Yep.
And Marcelino, it also is a mindset. So
Mhm.
some of the rooms that I would host as well were on mindset.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of imposter syndrome. It's a lot
Yeah.
of people, you can give somebody opportunity, you can give them the blueprint all day. But if you don't have the mindset to take action and
Yep.
to be disciplined and to get in community, which is what Career Karma really I think was the strongest in, like really getting in community with like-minded people who are trying to do the same thing, because it can be discouraging. Like it's no easy path per se. And if you don't know anybody else that's trying to do what you're doing, it's you're easily influenced or swayed to fall off track. So success in general is really, to me, the cheat code is really getting in community and surrounding yourself with people, even if it's just an accountability partner, even if it's virtually, tapping into a community, getting immersed in that circle or whatever, who can keep you on track. Because yeah, it's a daily
Okay, so
decision.
somebody, let's say now they've made a decision like, okay, I know I need to upskill. Tech is where it's at, boot camp, but maybe
Mhm.
I don't want to do something where I'm paying, a percentage of my check for 2 to 3 years, right? So here comes you took aspireship, I did course careers, right? So I know we talked. My last guest was we talked about course careers. Tell me a little bit about aspireship and what led you to deciding like, okay, this is the tech course or boot camp
Yeah.
that I want to go with to get me to that next level.
Um, Actually, the two that I would recommend to people were Aspireship and Course Careers.
Okay.
And Aspireship is actually a little more affordable, if that's even a thing, than Course
Really,
Careers.
really? What is it?
So Aspireship was what, 500? I don't know what it is now, but
Okay. So it's about the
several months
same.
ago.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Course Careers was like 500,
Yeah.
regular, and then Aspireship was maybe 150, 197. It was
Wow.
definitely like $200, give or take.
Okay. Wow.
And I had a friend who took Aspireship back when it was like free, or at least maybe a small, maybe $30, $50. I think they were trying to get people through the door to get reviews and kind of probably tweak things. So she had told me about it a little before that, but by the time I came around and was like, you know what, I'm gonna try the sales thing. The price had increased and they had changed a little bit of the model. So it wasn't exactly what she went through, but the content, because she had been kind of an SDR account executive before. So she was like, this is legit. Like the content is good. They help you. The thing I liked about Aspireship is they matched you with companies. So they were able to kind of get you interviews with some of their partners, their employer partners. And that's something that, Course Careers doesn't necessarily do like Aspireship does. So I like that somebody else was kind of in my corner helping me get some looks per se.
Wait a minute. Course Careers
Now things have changed.
they do have the employer partners that have access to your to your like test results, and
Yes, they do.
they got a little something. Come on now.
They do.
That's
But
my alumni here.
so this is
Well, go
what
ahead. No, go ahead.
this is kind of what it looks like with Aspireship when I did it. Now I have not really been back in the portal in a few months. So I know that they also added other courses other than tech sales. So
Okay.
There have been some changes in growth. But what they do is you get kind of like a sizzle reel that they'll do for you, and your resume and all the things. And with their partners, they'll shop you to different people and they'll choose, oh, we want to interview with this person. And so Aspireship will kind of, I think, put 2 or 3 companies in your portal at a time. Now it's very sporadic because it depends on, who they're partnered with, who's hiring, et cetera.
Okay.
But you click yes or no, basically. You read through the brief synopsis, it'll give you the salary, the benefits. If they have other people who've been placed with them and gotten jobs, they'll connect you. And sorry, I'm looking for my charger.
And so you get to select yes or no. So it's like swipe
Yeah.
left, swipe right.
So you get, yes, it's kind of like dating for jobs. And then what you do is also, if you like it, you type in why, you put a little pointers, there's a little drop down, or why not. So they can have a better idea of like what you're looking for.
Okay. So
I really like that because, you need help when it comes to finding interviews and jobs. So I like that I had somebody else shopping me around.
Okay.
So to speak.
All right. So, but you're limited by the jobs that they have in their portal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't say, "Hey, I want a job at Oracle or Salesforce." They're gonna shop you to them.
No, you cannot say you want a job at Oracle unless Oracle is one of their partners.
We don't let Tondaylea grab her charger, so we don't.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, there we go.
We get to edit that part, so don't worry about it. I'm good.
Because my laptop will cut off.
Yeah, and I don't want to mess around because my camera had to update my camera just to get the interview going. It was like everything was acting a fool. But okay, so we were talking about
Aspireship.
Yeah, so the partner jobs they have, it's not like you get to say, "Hey, I want to interview at this company."
No, because you don't even know who they partner with.
Yeah.
And it varies, and they're constantly reaching out to different people and trying to get companies on board, I guess, to partner with them. So, and then I know there was a period where it wasn't really nothing happening. So,
okay. So how long did it take you to complete the course?
And a week or 2.
Really?
I mean, of course, they tell you, a few months.
Yeah.
But you can finish it in a week.
knock it out. Yeah. So it just depends on you know, your level of hustle and how fast you want to get through it. Okay. So it's self-paced, right?
Exactly.
Self-paced, and then you completed the course 1 or 2 weeks. Now, how long from there till you got your offer? What was that
Less
timeline?
than less than 3 months.
Okay.
So
That's not
I
bad.
did it in January, and I think by the time they approved me and, I did my test and all that stuff, maybe it was the end of January. So February, March, April 10th. So yeah, less than 3 months. But also, I don't know if you guys remember when the Silicon Valley bank
Yep, yep,
collapsed.
yep, yep.
So I was about to get an offer right before that.
Oh my goodness.
And it was through Aspireship, one of the
Okay.
companies that they had matched me with. And man, when that bank collapsed, they went on a hiring freeze.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I was this close.
Yeah. I know that must have hurt. So
And
what?
the money would have been good too.
So talk about
Um,
that. Like, so that was all right. So you got an offer on the table, and then that collapsed. What was your
I
thought?
didn't get the
How were
offer,
you
but it
feeling
was
at that?
it
But
basically
you were
that was
right
it. I
there.
finished the process. Everybody
Yeah.
loved me. I was perfect.
Yeah. So how were you feeling in that moment, and how did you bounce back from that? Because I know a lot of people they get burnt out in this job search process. I talk to people all the
Yeah.
time with the coaching group, and they're like getting burnt out. So how was that? How did you feel in that moment, and how did you bounce back?
Um, I can't say like I went through. I'm a person who what's for me is for me, and I trust God is the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate
Yeah.
orchestrator of this thing that I'm living called
Amen.
life. And
Yes.
so I'm like, if this is good, like he must have something really
God.
way better than this.
Mm-hmm.
But it gave me the confidence that it's nice to know that you're wanted,
You
that
want
you're
it.
on
Yep.
the right track, that somebody does see value in you, and that you're employable, so to speak. So I'm like, okay, I'm close. I was interviewing with two different companies at the time. One was going to be hybrid, and it was good money,
Mm-hmm.
but I really didn't want hybrid, but I was willing.
Okay.
And I just turned it over. I was like, God, whatever you see is best for me, that's where I'm gonna go.
So are you're
And
completely remote then right now?
yeah,
Oh,
100%
okay.
remote.
That's a
However,
blessing, ain't it?
thankfully I'm in the right location, because actually right before I started, they sent an email out that they're about to go hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are within 40 miles, I think, of one of their offices, you had to start going in twice a
Oh,
week. And I
yeah,
was like, what
yeah,
the?
yeah.
So, I mean, thankfully, I didn't fall into, those
The
limits,
categories,
but
yeah. So
that ain't cool. They didn't even mention that. But
'cause
maybe
I know
because
you was
I
like
just wasn't going to be affected.
I know you were like in Brazil or something when I was back in back then we both were on the job hunt. No, I know you was traveling and stuff. You was
I wasn't in Brazil, but I'm sure I was a little bit everywhere because yeah, I would be logging in, hosting from all across the country basically
yeah,
because I had to travel for work.
yeah.
And just at the place that I'm in my life, it was just so draining on me, and it was impacting me negatively. So
Mhm.
I knew that yeah, it just wasn't working for me anymore. And so I had to find something different, which is why I had to speed up
Yeah.
because I have to have income, I have to survive. Um,
So yeah, talk about that. How has things changed for you? Um, maybe financially, emotionally, whatever you want to talk about. How have things
yeah,
changed since you were able to break into tech? And like you said, you were previously you was a flight attendant, right? And then you had the contract job, and then now fully into tech, working remote. Is it everything you
yeah.
thought it would be? And like how has things changed for you?
I'm definitely in a better place than I was last year,
Hmm.
last couple years probably. I just closed on a house,
Ooh,
so I'm
congrats.
back. I'm back in the homeowner game. I had sold
Yep.
my house in Atlanta in 2019, so um, I ain't about that rent life. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was ready to get back, and so it afforded me to, have a home again, that was mine, and I can do whatever and not pay somebody else's mortgage. It afforded me the opportunity to just take care of myself,
Hmm.
and not be stressed and with travel and just different time zones and schedule. Like I couldn't even schedule anything. So, you have events and gatherings and holidays and all that kind of stuff. I really never could schedule anything unless it was a vacation,
Yep.
because my schedule changed so much.
It changed.
Now, I
Yeah.
used to be a police officer and my schedule fluctuated then as well, but not every day, every week.
Hmm.
It was every 3 months or so. And I knew it was between three different schedules, right? Off days rotate, but it was really hard. And I was very last minute. I pull up on somebody, but now I can schedule things. I can have stability in my time. And I can work from anywhere. I have the flexibility to, if somebody's sick or if there's, somebody passed away, which has happened,
Yeah.
I'm able to be with my family. If there's graduations or birthdays or, different things like that. So I'm very grateful, for the flexibility
Hmm.
that I have now. And yeah, and financially, it's been good. Well, it's been better. It could be a lot better, but it's
It's
definitely
going in the right trajectory.
going in the right
I
direction.
know with
Exactly.
tech, I see it, and I recently got experiencing some opportunities floating my way that's taking my trajectory up. So,
Nice,
and
nice.
I'm only 6 to 8 months, 6 to 8 months in. Depending
Yeah,
on
I
if you
think you're
count.
closer. Yeah, because I think I'm about 6, so you got to be 7 or 8.
Yeah, so I'm like
Um,
I'll say 8 months in. I don't count like my first month was just onboarding 30 days. So I'm like, I didn't start selling till April. So where we at now in October. So
yeah,
let's say 8 months, give or take. Um, but yeah, like the opportunities do come, and I will say like having that schedule, right? The ability where you can be there for, like you say, family events, birthdays, where you could travel. Okay, I gotta go here. Something happened in the family, but you could even work. Like you could even all you need is a Wi-Fi,
yeah.
right? All you need is your laptop and Wi-Fi, and you could work from anywhere.
The airport,
Yeah, right.
because I had to travel. I had to be at the airport.
Yeah.
Like I left a little early during lunch and just posted up, at the airport, finished work there, and then got on my flight. So just that kind of flexibility. But also, I want to tell people to make sure they're being intentional about who they want to work for
Mm,
and who they want to work with.
yes,
That is priceless.
that's
And
the
I've already experienced, the benefit of me being intentional with that, because I had two offers actually before the one that with this one, the job that I'm at, I had two offers and they were really similar. But what it came down to really was, okay, who do I want to work with and what environment do I want to really be in?
mm,
And I've been in environments where it's not very supportive, hostile, like people really don't have your back like that. And it's no fun. The job is gonna be the job. But what makes things 10, 100 times worse is when you're working with people who are negative or just don't have your best interests or just not supportive or collaborative, or you're with a company that is really not caring about the employee. And you can name a list of things, but I have already seen, the return on that investment of me going with who I went with, and them really, having my back and just edifying me and, really genuinely supporting me. And it's like, how can we help you succeed? Um, and it's laid back. It's not, micromanaging, and
Mm,
that, y'all, that makes a
it
difference,
does.
because it's always going to be stress. The job, again, is going to have ebbs and flows. But when you're able to genuinely work with people who um, are in a collaborative spirit, in a growth mindset, it pays off.
So you talked about something that's very important is being intentional and not just saying I'll take whatever job I can get, because I hear that a lot. It's like I ask people when they reach out to me for for advice or questions. I'm like, so what industry are you focused on? And they're like, whatever. I just want to break into tech. It doesn't matter, whoever's hiring. But that not having a sense of clarity of where we want to go is not going to allow us to advance. If it's just going to spread us thin. So now we're applying for all these different industries, getting rejection left and right because our resume is not focused and intentional. So you talked about being intentional and knowing like what values you have. So how do you know what values? Do you got any tips for people on like being clear on your values? Was this something that you had to like write down, or you already knew like this is me, who I am? Because some people I feel like they're skipping that step.
Yeah, because we're conditioned to seek out a job per se. And like you said, hey, whoever's hiring, I'm throwing my resume at whoever want me.
Spray and
But
pray.
when we switch our mindset, now granted, these for people who are somewhat in a stable situation,
Hmm.
because hey, no judgment. If you just need something to put food on the table, then that's a different story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't even think straight if your basic needs are not being met. So let's take that off the table. But just knowing what you have value for, what your needs are, what your desires are, it takes some time. You have to sit with yourself. And
Mm.
of course, some of that comes with maturity and just living life as well. But I would say, for me, I just really had to evaluate the past situations that I was in, and looking at where I came from with work situations, analyzing what worked for me, where I excelled, what really didn't work for me. Because honestly, I used to have a mindset of I can do anything for a little while. The new person that transformed Tondaylea, the new iteration of myself, that just doesn't work.
Mhm.
And I've realized that. Yeah, I can do anything for a little while, but the person that, like, the feelings, the way I operate, it doesn't work for me. Like, literally, I will feel it. So you have to really spend some time with yourself and ask yourself a lot of questions. And if you actually go on Career Karma, you probably can see, well, hear some of the old recordings and audios from the conversations that we had, because I give a list of resources
Yeah.
and really deep questions for you to sit with yourself on. Um, that
We're not sponsored by Career
No,
Karma.
we're not sponsored by CK.
This is
Uh,
stuff we genuinely use and believe in. That's what's
yeah.
good about
And
this.
honestly, I still will get pings on my phone with people like reaching out to me and asking questions. And I'm like, did I know I'm not on this app anymore? There are no coaches on here right now. But
So,
people still go back and listen to those old episodes.
oh wow. So are you doing any kind of like coaching or anything? Do you like if somebody is looking for
I
that
mean, if
help
somebody,
and making that pivot?
DMs me, I think I still have my Calendly link on my LinkedIn, or
Mhm.
it probably was on Career Karma, because I had somebody sign up, and I was like, "Where did this come from?" And she was actually trying to apply for a position, I think a software engineering position at my company, but she had already applied, so I couldn't refer her.
Mm.
But yeah, if people want to connect with me on LinkedIn, for sure. Um, if you have questions, any way I can help you, I am open to do that. And what I will say though, which is what I used to say in the audio rooms at Career Karma, is, now I ain't just giving you and doing all the work for you. I'm not giving you everything. You have to do
Yeah,
some work. You have to do some
exactly.
research, not just into the industry, but do some research on yourself and
Ooh,
really,
let's go.
yeah, ask yourself,
Definitely.
hey, where do I want to go? and then
Where do we go?
reverse engineer it.
And reverse
So if you want to be in sales, ask yourself why. And really, why is that key question? Because anytime you come up with another answer, then you can dig deeper with another why.
Say it again. Say it again. What's the key question?
Why?
Why?
So anytime you get stumped, so for instance, I wanted to be in tech sales. Why did I want to pivot into tech sales? Because I needed to transition, within a certain amount of time. Teaching myself software engineering and coding was a slower route. I didn't do a boot camp.
Yeah.
I almost did.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, I need X, Y, and Z. This is going to get me there. I need to make a certain amount of money. Okay,
Exactly.
this is going to help me do that. I
Mhm.
need to be able to pivot within an organization. So this is why I looked at certain corporations or people who are hiring. Certain companies I want to work for. Other ones probably don't really match my style, my flow. So you really have to examine. I would say the easiest thing again is really looking at your old jobs or your current job.
Mhm.
And how do you feel about that? Why? Have you advanced in that job? Why or why not? So some things that I didn't do in my previous careers, I switched up and improved. Like I didn't really go into a lot of my careers or past jobs, it wasn't even a career, I would say, with a game plan because I didn't plan on staying there. But then
Mhm.
I ended up staying and then I was SOL. So this time I went in with a 30, 60, 90-day plan. I went in looking at other roles. Can I pivot within this company? Because I know my past has dictated, I tend to stay places a little longer. So even if I have an opportunity, I just want to make sure if I end up staying here 5 or 10 years, there's going to be room for me to grow and to pivot.
Mhm.
So you have to really examine yourself, your past situations, and ask your friend circle. Ask people who've worked with you certain questions and get their feedback. Because a lot of times we have blinders, we can't see certain things, but our managers, our coworkers, people who we're in community with can give us some insight on some of our strengths, some of the things that they see in us that can give us some insight into where we may need to improve or what we may need to use and leverage.
Hope y'all was taking notes. Those are gems, right?
I could go on and on about this stuff.
But one thing
Um,
I got out of that was going in with a game plan. Like, don't just go in there and say I'm gonna figure it out, or okay, I'm glad I just got this job. I'm here. I made it. No, it's like you have the ability, right, to pivot within that that company. Now that you've made it to this company, okay, where can I take it from here? It's like you want to go in there with a game plan, things are going to move in the right direction and move a lot faster because you put in synergy into that. You put in a pen to the paper with the 30-60. You said the 30-60-90 plan, right? Now I'm a
yeah,
big proponent of this. I I do a weekly coaching group and I tell my people, just like my mentor told me, and remember we had one of our mentors
yeah,
we were saying with Scott, right? We jumped on the Scott group, and I know that was I believe that was one of the things he mentioned, right? Was a 30,
yep,
60, 90-day plan. And he mentioned it, then I started researching it, I put it together, and I used that, and that definitely allowed me to stand out not only in my interview, but once I got the role, I hit the ground running because I had a plan. Now, with your 30, 60, 90 plan, what I would say, do you have any tips on how to put a 30, 60, 90-day plan? Is that something you just came off the top of your head and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just put this together, or what were
Uh,
just a little
so
bit of the steps you did to get that?
pretty much, I used the template that Scott had, but that needed a little tweaking so I can understand it and explain it to somebody else. So you helped me
Mhm.
because you had put yours together, and then I just tweaked it from there. So I I would say it helped me the most with just confidence and being able to articulate better kind of where I want to go or what I need to do, at least have a framework in my head. But I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. I have not abided by that 36-90 day plan. And it's not because of lack of trying. But yeah, once I got out of boot camp,
Yeah.
it it didn't it didn't do much for me, I will say.
Did it help you
And
in
it
your
was
maybe your interviews?
I mentioned it,
Yeah.
but nobody really, I would say, like I didn't go over it with anybody.
Okay.
Um, but I think the fact that I had it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Exactly.
You
So
had
it's
it,
a
so
tool
it
because
gave
it
you a
lets people know you're
confidence.
prepared.
Yep.
You've done your research.
Hmm.
So that's why I say it helps with confidence. It helped me with confidence and at least having somewhere to pull from. Now, for me personally, I cannot attest to how it works because as much as I tried, I just could not stick to it. So again, you have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
And
Definitely,
it
definitely.
got me to where I needed to go, but then I had to use some other tools once I got, in the position.
That's the thing. It's like some of these tools are just to help you have confidence, are just to show that you are prepared, that you really want that job. And if you go in there with a 30, 60, 90 day plan, yeah, granted, you may not use it, but you are standing out amongst the top 5% of candidates because 95% of people are not coming in with a plan like that. And for that's
Absolutely.
and I'm telling you, and I heard
My
this from
mentor, once I got to the job, like they assigned you mentors, and he
yeah.
mentioned, he was like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody with a 30, 60, 90 day plan.
But I'm saying it helps like it helps in many ways. Like I literally have skipped interview rounds because I had that plan where either the recruiter, the hiring manager is like, we're just gonna take you to the final round, or we're just gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
They
about
literally,
standing out
yeah,
and doing that little extra, yeah, submit your resume, apply for the job, and something else. Like
just have
nobody is
something.
sending a
Mhm.
video, nobody is really
Yep.
sending an audio message, through LinkedIn. Nobody is really doing a 30, 60, 90 day plan. So you have to kind of go against the grain and be the outlier.
Hmm. Absolutely, and I think that is like a gem where we could leave the people on because they're gonna need to stop right there and take notes. Soak that in, y'all. Stand out. Be the outlier, right? Don't be the average in a sea of candidates. You see some of these jobs, 1,000 applicants, 500. Like, I'm like, how is this even
Uh,
possible?
and no matter how many times you tell people to apply, they still hesitate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and let me tell you this. Well, the audience this because I work for a recruiting software company, and this gave me another insight into why you need to apply. Um, some of these positions, it's not people manually looking at all of these applications. So yeah, there may be 500 applicants, 1,000, but what AI, because we're in this tech world, what AI can do, depending on the software that the company has, they'll sift through those applications and pull out
Mm,
the top, percentage or the top 10, so recruiters can more efficiently use their time.
yep.
So you never know. Just apply. It's not going to hurt.
Yep. Use those AI tools to optimize your resume too, like I think it's Resi.io, where you can get an ATS. It optimizes for the ATS system, so it has all those keywords and things like that. So that's kind of like what you're saying, right? You want to be in that top 10% of those
Exactly.
resumes because they're not
Hmm.
reading every word for word. They're just gonna run it through the scanner, and then if you stand out with the keywords, boom.
Yeah. Because people are thinking, oh, well, I'll be the 1,001 applicant, but it doesn't matter. You may have applied last, but if you're the top, if you're the cream of the crop of those 1,000, then it'll push your application to the top, at least with our software and other AI tools. And the recruiter be like, oh, I need to call this 900th person and maybe the 300th person and versus 1 through 10 of who applied first. So yeah, it's not going to hurt.
Okay. Well, I think we gave some gems away, and I appreciate I appreciate all the gems. I hope everybody was taking notes. But I got that final question. Now, door number one is you get to pick a number 1 through 5, and I got 5 random unique questions. Or door
Like
number
a rapid
two,
fire.
yeah, no, this is just like you're gonna get one of these questions that I'm gonna pick at random, but these are like just random questions, right?
Okay.
And then door number two is my favorite question, which is, and I'll let you know that question. It's what do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh, that's a good one.
When it's all said and done, what do you want people to say about you? Like Tondaylea, she was this, this, and this. What is it?
So
Hmm.
I'll take door number two.
Okay, okay, good choice because the other ones is they might have got a little embarrassing.
I'll take door number two. Numero dos.
Número dos. Okay.
What do I want to be remembered for? So actually, my name means Tondalia means love and light, is what I like to say. So Tonda is love in Zulu.
Uh-huh.
And then Alia, highly exalted. So I just, and there's other versions. So I just say love and
Mm.
light.
Wow.
And I want to be remembered basically for being impactful in that way, like really showing people what love is and freedom and liberation and how I live out my life. Um, so it goes beyond, job. I mean, working is for the birds. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm doing it, but ultimately,
Yeah.
well, at least me, I'm speaking for myself. I do not want to be working. I want to be enjoying and living life.
Exactly. Yep.
But while I'm here, I know that my purpose is to really model what that looks like, to really live out loud your fully expressed self. So that's what my journey has been. That's why I've been able to pivot into tech and was able to have the confidence to leave other jobs. And when my family is like, girl, you better stay and get that pension at that good old government job. And I'm like, but it's not working for me no more.
Mm. Mm.
Like,
Hmm.
I will be dying inside if I stayed here. So I really want people to tap into that part of themselves that, just do it scared. Do it even if you don't have the answers, try it out, ask the questions, really get uncomfortable. And if the way that I live my life, if I can help with a resource or an encouraging word or just sharing my vulnerabilities and my L's, the lessons, not the losses,
Hmm.
to help you get over that hump and do that a little quicker than I did through life, then that is what I want to be remembered for. Like, you know what? I was really able to overcome some things through witnessing, how you showed up in the world.
Hmm. That's
So that's
beautiful.
it. Because
That's
really, that's what it's all about to me. Like leaving a situation, a person, earth better than you found it.
mm. Love and light, y'all. Leave the place better than you found it. Yes. I tell that to um I used to coach like some youth, and I would
Oh,
always
right.
tell
Yes.
them, I would tell them, leave the place better than you found it. We be in the park doing whatever. Don't leave the trash behind. You want to leave this planet, and you said it. Leave the place better than you found it. Thanks for sharing that, and I hope that that's going to inspire some people. Even if it's just one person listening, take that chance. Like Tondalia said, take that chance. Do it scared, right? That's the way to do it. Breaking your
Yep.
fears, and we see
That's the
that.
only way to conquer fear is to face it.
Because
Gotta do it scared.
false evidence appearing real. It's not real. All the things that we think can go wrong, 99% of the time never happen. Doesn't even get close, right? But you have all these
Facts.
thoughts of like, oh my God, people are gonna laugh at me because I'm leaving this career or I'm leaving this job. But it's the people who they're probably scared. They're projecting their fears on you. So
Yeah.
she's Tondalia is a testimony. Take that chance,
Living,
take that
walking
leap.
testimony.
Take that leap, y'all. And if people want to stay connected with you, this resonated with them, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
LinkedIn is the best way, and TV is in television. Lindsay is down
You see
under
that?
here somewhere.
Yep, it's
is
down there,
where
right there.
is where you can get me.
Got
So
the
yeah,
link. Got the link
y'all
there.
tap in.
And you also do the I found it dope. You wrote this. You say you do the self defense stuff. So
Oh
what?
yeah, because I used to be the popo,
Mhm.
and as I was transitioning out of law enforcement, I started teaching self defense to women and girls, helping them to um, escape rape, to be able to defend themselves. But ultimately, self defense is a mindset.
Mhm.
Tech Ninja, I'm sure you're very familiar with that. Everything comes back,
Mhm.
even your safety to
Yeah.
mindset. So I wrote a book called F Fear, again, Face Fear,
What?
and
You mean tell me you an author? What? Okay.
yeah, so it's a modern day women's
Oh,
self
we're gonna have to
defense guide.
link that in the show notes, y'all. So it will be linked in the show notes. You definitely gonna have to send me that.
Uh,
If is it still available? It's sold out.
it's available. The ebook is
Okay.
always available. So yeah.
All right.
But I do have study guides. I have videos. So it's some stuff on Gumroad that is definitely still available. But yeah, it's all mindset.
Mhm.
And I applied those same principles to people who would come into rooms on Career Karma because it really boils down to fear. Like, it's a scary thing for a lot of people to switch careers, to jump into tech, and they've never done anything like that before. So, self defense, you can apply it to life, and ultimately, you know, face fear.
Face your fear.
That's the only way you can conquer it.
There it is. There it is. Well,
Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
This is fun.
Yes, thank you, Tondaylea, for sharing all of your wonderful wisdom, sharing your insights, your experiences, um, and just dropping some gems for the people and just being true to your name, spreading that love and light. I think that is something I definitely admire about you from the first time we connected. You were hosting, like I said, and you shared. You didn't have to share all those resources with me. You reached out back out to me, and I knew you were probably busy. All these people, messaging you, like you said, and you shared some resources that directly impacted me and helped me along my journey. So I just want to appreciate you, give you your flowers for that. Um,
That's
you
what
know,
it's all about. I'm glad I
yes,
was
yes,
able to
you
help
definitely
you.
have helped me, like I said, but a lot of probably countless of others with those free weekly workshops. So salute to you for that. And yeah, y'all know how to connect with Tondalia. The link is right there, or her LinkedIn is right there. And you know what it is. Pivot and prosper. Stay tuned for more exciting interviews. And we out, y'all.